Welcome to Rich Conversations. This is another one of our weekly guided reflection sessions where we're going to take about 40 to 55 minutes out of our day to simply just think more intentionally about our own lives. And I'll pose some simple questions. This is not planned. It's all extemporaneous questions that come to my mind, which makes it more fun. But it's designed to get us to think more intentionally so that moving forward, we can be more precise in the actions we want to take in the direction we want to moving forward. So we're going to start this session like we do every session, and that's 5 minutes of breathing. You can do this. 5 minutes. So I'm going to set a timer, and here we go. Don't overthink it. We're just going to sit on a flat surface if you can, and your back straight, and we're just going to breathe in and out. And we're just focusing on the breath. If thoughts come to mind, let them pass. They're not important right now. We're just breathing in and out. All right. That was 5 minutes of breathing. How was it? How are you feeling? Something so simple like that doesn't mean that it's easy, or else more people would probably do it. I'm recording this at night. Might yawn a few times. Let's get into it. First question, what are we grateful for? Always a great place to start. So we're just writing maybe one big thing that we're grateful for, or maybe, a few things. The importance of it is to frame our mind, right? So the breathing recenters us. It helps us kind of empty our mind, right? Like if we were a computer with our storage all the way full, it's going to get bogged down. It's not going to perform or operate up to its full abilities. So with the breathing exercises, it helps kind of clear that out, right? So we're ready to go. We're ready to either write, or if you're typing, or if you're thinking. We just want to be in a good headspace to be present and really think about our lives. And gratitude, starting with gratitude, is such a fantastic way to begin. We're coming from a place of appreciation rather than, entitlement or lack of gratitude. We're thinking about ourselves. We're thinking about our ego, our individualness. Gratitude helps us pull back and understand that we're part of a bigger world, an interconnected world. So while the rest of these questions are going to be made up on the fly, I always choose to start this with gratitude. And to piggyback off of this, what was the last thing you complained about? Think back. And we don't want to make judgments here. And this is just for you. This is for you. You don't have to share this with anybody else. It's for you. It's to think about your own life, observe it kind of objectively, and be honest with yourself. I'm not here to judge you. And we want to get away from kind of judging ourselves. Because when we do, we're often really critical. So we're thinking about the last time when we complained, and okay, let's kind of diagnose this a little more. What was it about? Now, is this something that's fair? If we're coming from a mindset of gratitude, and as a human being, we only need 4 things: water, food, shelter, and human connection, right? So is this thing we're complaining about, is it something we need? Is it something that bombards our being in a way, right? Or is it us just having a bad moment as a human being and letting our biology as a mammal get the best of us? What we want to do is, through these questions and eventually and steps you take, You want to become a higher level human being where your mind is operating at a very high level. So you can kind of impose your will in a way. You can kind of design your life and your environment and everything around you by instilling like this higher order. Like your mind is working with your body to execute actions in the world, right? Rather than your body is programmed as a mammal to just react. We want less of that and more like intentional approaching the world. So what was the last thing we complained about? And, were we angry? It usually comes back to kind of on us and making a judgment, right? Making, maybe having too different of expectations rather than what was more practical for that situation. It usually comes back to us and like a misinterpretation, misunderstanding in a way. We always want to be calm. We never want to be angry. And complaining is just like, if we're thinking about beauty, when you're thinking of beauty, complaining, like, if you're thinking of a person, no one is complaining, right? When you're thinking of beauty, you don't picture someone complaining, right? So we want to avoid doing this because we want to be beautiful human beings. Yeah, sometimes I'll catch myself, I'll be kind of complaining in my head, and I stop it. I'm like, you want to be conscious of your thoughts in a way as they're happening, right? And I have to stop. And sometimes you're kind of battling the ego, right? It kind of feels good to feed the ego, not gonna lie, and to feel like the world's out to get you, or these people don't understand, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, let it go. What brings you joy right now? Let's think about the activities that we're doing. What brings us the most joy? Joy has been on my mind quite a bit recently. I've been getting up at like 4:30, 5 a.m. and writing. I'm writing a novel right now. And before the last 2 weeks, I would write like 5 days a week and kind of like later in the day. But the last 2 weeks, I've had stuff going on at like around 11 a.m. And I don't want my day and the things that I'm working on and my highest priorities to be kind of dictated by other things in a way. So as a consequence of that, or to prepare for that, I'm just getting up earlier. Few things are interrupting you at like 4:35 in the morning. Usually I would say 5. So my body wakes me up. I don't set alarms. And I haven't set an alarm since COVID, I think, to wake up in the morning, pretty much. And I make some espresso. Make it into an Americano so it lasts longer in like a coffee mug. And I do breathing exercises while it cools down a little bit, drinkability. Yeah, and we just go at it. We just write like at least like 4. Well, we write a scene. It's this. The novel's broken up into chapters, which are broken up into like 3 or 4 scenes. And every day, just going at it. It's been so joyful. So that's really been on my mind, and by doing that in the morning, I don't really care about the rest of the day as far as what happens, and what comes up. Like, it's all kind of a bonus, right? Because my favorite thing, the thing that brings me the most joy, I've done every morning the last 2 weeks. Yeah. So joy's been on my mind, and making sure that we're giving time to the things that bring us joy, right? That fill us up with just meaning and fulfillment and something that takes up time, and we don't even think of time. We're so present, right? And just so in the moment. Joy. So think about a time that you've experienced that, and what things now in your life bring you a lot of joy. It could be any number of things. Can be people too, could be anything. I think that's interesting. It's just how everybody has different interests. It's interesting that people have different interests. There's so much variety, I like that people find what they're into, and we might see this more with the internet and like everything kind of becoming more niche. The big thing is, us coming together and accepting one another with all their different interests, right? And getting along and finding common ground, common values that we share. I was talking to somebody today about Pokemon, and like Pokemon was their favorite. I found my childhood Pokemon collection, card collection. And I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. Got some sick cards in there. I took care of them too. Very protected, very particular about taking care of things. So let's take a moment and go back to our childhoods. What is something that, we could go again on this line of joy? What brought us joy? What was like our most prized possession that we invested, our time in or our money in? Like what was something like that. What's the biggest thing going on in your life right now? There's likely something that's weighing on you or consuming a lot of real estate on the mind. What is that? Is it something that can be resolved? Is it something that you want to resolve? At a certain time, though, it would dissolve in a way. I'm thinking, like, if you even had, like, a child, right now is on, like, this stage of parenting or growth, right? But then the next biggest thing is, like, the next chapter of growth and stuff like that. Could be an exam at school. It could be a job search or a project at work. It could be a puzzle, a jigsaw puzzle that you're putting together, and it's just like weighing on your mind. It's the biggest thing you're working on. Like I don't know. It's up to you. What's the biggest thing on your mind that's taking up the most space? Or you're thinking about it constantly. It could be relationships, dating, the world. We do want to be careful, though, if we're thinking about the world and giving attention to what we can control. Understanding that it's like such a important aspect of life is understanding what you can control and control that. Do your best at that. If you're letting things out of your control affect your mental well-being, you're doing a disservice to yourself, or like you're being unfair to yourself. It doesn't mean we don't have to care about other things. But we have to limit how much they impact us psychologically and biologically if we're, irritated or angered or, just anything like that. It's an important building block for life is just understanding what's in our control, what's not in our control. And if you're able to approach things with that kind of binary system, it's like it's more calm. And you're able to actually do more, be more helpful to other people because you have that sense of grounding. So let's ask the question, is there something on our mind right now that is not in our control, but we're giving a lot of attention to? All right. Are you having fun? What is fun to you? When's the next time you're going to have fun? When was the last time you had fun? Fun. Make life fun again. I think this is really important. Having fun. We look at fun as like so serious and like it's bad. But especially in America, if you're watching this in America, listening to it in America, it just feels like everybody's uptight right now. And we can't have fun. It's like the fun police are patrolling in droves. But that's part of being a healthy individual, a healthy person, is having fun. I think we don't give enough credit to our ancestors. When we look back, we look at people so seriously, it seems. And we often are making judgments on what they don't have compared to us. And again, I think we don't want to be doing that. But as human beings, we can empathize. We can place ourselves in a different time and understand that, like biologically, we're human beings. And people laugh. People have fun. For as little material things as we think about with people in the past, I bet they had a lot more fun. So are we having fun in life? And I think that's a great question to ask in regards to how your life is right now. Like, if you're not having fun, that should be an indicator that something is off. There's a variable somewhere that is affecting us in a way that we're not having fun in life. Life should be fun. Not all the time. I don't mean like pleasure nonstop all the time. That leads to a lot of pain. What I'm talking about is that joy again, that fun, that ability to be in the moment, to feel uplifted and energized by the things we do. I think it's good to anticipate moments of fun as well, because that can be a lot of fun. The anticipation, the looking forward to a scheduled event of fun. Yeah, that's something that comes up in conversations lately. The world, but the complexity of it compared to times before. And also the struggle of a lot of individuals to navigate this kind of newer, complex world. I think most would agree that the world is more complex today than it was before. And even before, like 15 years ago, per se, 10 years ago. It's almost like we've arrived at a point. And this point is a complex world. We're kind of getting there from, say, like 2013 on with the rise of smartphones. But we've kind of gotten to this point where everything kind of seems shaky in a way, or uncertain, unpredictable, overstimulation, over demand of our attention, over excess of everything. Like everything is in excess now. And abundance. And so psychologically, it seems to be a lot more to handle, to process. And again, like it's kind of like the computer analogy I made before. I'm making an analogy about computer because of computers overstimulating us. It's like there's too much data, there's too much space or files, right? And it's bombarding us all the time that our minds are just like out of whack, out of control, or filled up. And I think people are struggling with that. Society seems to be struggling with that. And I think it's great of you to take the time to address this, because that's why we're doing this stuff, right? The world will become more simple by doing this, because the world is simple or complex based on how you approach it in a way. But we've lost a lot of fundamentals, or learning of fundamentals, these building blocks of life and how to be a high-level human being, and they're not being taught in traditional ways that the world seems complex. I don't know if there's a question there, other than it just comes up in so many conversations I have. And it's people from different backgrounds, I would say, too. Lifestyle, education, geography. So it's something that brings us together at the same time. What topic comes up in conversations you have with people? What's a common thread? What's a common topic that seems to pop up with the conversations you have with people? Yeah, we'll find that there'll be some common threads, some common things. And it's interesting at like different ages how things have more importance to us than at other times of our lives. Very interesting. This next question, what music have we been playing on repeat lately? And from that, can you pull away and diagnose your mood based on that, right? Through music, music is something so personal to us. It's so intertwined with our feelings, emotions. So we can make kind of grander grander analysis, I don't know, about our feelings and stuff we're going through. There might be patterns. Grander observations. let's begin wrapping this up because I have to go to bed and wake up and write a novel. What are we energized for next week? Within the next week, what are we energized for? What is it that is going to bring us joy? What are we energized for in the next week? I'm energized to hang out with you guys again. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to do this simple yet important task of just reflecting on your own life. You know, setting aside time, giving yourself time so that you can think clear and enable yourself to take more action in your life, become a higher level human being, and through it, make the complex world into a simple one. So thanks for being here. We'll see you next week. Inspire the future.